hot already. Okay, what's up guys? So this is going to be part 3 of my beginner blacksmith hand forging a blade. This is my 5160 blade. If you watch the first 2 parts of the series so far, then you know how we got to this point. I decided after looking at my knife that it was still had quite a bit of meat on it. So off camera I did some more grinding on the blade to kind of put in that distal taper a little bit more. And I took a little bit more off the handle to flatten that up, put a slight distal taper in that. But this is where the knife stands right now. So basically what is next is we're going to do the hardening process. This is 5160 steel, and you know there's probably several oils that you can use to quench this in. When I originally did my class, we actually used McDonald's French fry oil is what we dipped our blades in for the quench. So I'm going to use what's called Goddard's goop, and it's a mixture of paraffin wax, bacon grease, and motor oil. And it is a hard, I guess it's in a solid form when I start, and then I quench the knife and it turns liquid really quickly. If any of you have read Goddard's books, or his book, he talks about that formula in there, and it's what he uses when he traveled around to do blacksmithing shows and whatnot. It basically was a solid form of quenching oil, a mix of, like I said, the paraffin wax, motor oil, and bacon grease, of all things. So I'm going to use that for the quench, which you'll see in the video. I'm also going to, I have a slight bend in this blade, which I don't know if it shows up, but it was from actually doing my stamp, and I didn't straighten it after that, so there's a slight bend right where the stamp is, this way. So I'm going to heat this up, and then we're going to flatten this out, and then I'm going to use a ball peen hammer, and I'm going to actually put some texturing in here too. So I'll show you how to do that process. It's really simple, you're just hitting it with a hammer. But it'll give it some nice texture when it's finished, because I'm going to leave the back spine rough, untouched, basically raw form. So it'll give it a little bit more texture, a little bit more character. So that's where we're going to go in this episode, part 3. Thanks for checking in. So I'm just using this small ball peen hammer just to do texturing on the blade. So hopefully that shows up. You can see it's bending the blade, so I'm going to do the other side, and then I'll straighten the whole blade out again. I'll probably do one more pass on this side just to get a little bit more in there. Alright, this is the second heat. Too much, so you can see that. It's my texturing for this side. Go back in for a third heat. third heat, texturing on the back side. Alright, I think that's probably good on that side. You can see how I got a nice twist in my blade from doing that. So I'm going to heat it back up, and then we're going to flatten everything out, and then we'll be ready for the heat treat. That's pretty straight. When you're checking your straightness, you want to look at something that's white, or preferably light color, and you look at it with the white background in the distance, and you track down the knife, check your straightness. Now you don't have to have it perfect. I mean, you want to get it as good as you can, because when you're doing some final grinding and stuff, you can clean that up if you have enough left on your knife. So I think this is good. I'm going to throw it in for the final heat, and then we're going to do the quench. Okay, so this is the Goddard's goop I was talking about. Like I said, it's a mixture of paraffin wax, bacon grease, and motor oil. So it's hard right now. If you are traveling as a blacksmith and doing, demos somewhere, shows, this would be good for you to use as a quench. I don't know if this is going to work good with 5160 or not, but I'm going to try it. That's what blacksmithing is all about. You just trial and error and see what works for you and what doesn't. First-hand experience always seems to be the best. So here we go. Get this set up. Now I'm gonna just quench the edge of the blade in here, and I'm gonna hold it in there for about 1.5 minutes before I pull it out, or before I'll just drop the entire blade in. So that'll help it for the 5160 type, I guess. Holding it in the oil for a longer period of time controls the cooling, and it makes it for a better edge on the blade. So you want to let it sit for a second in the air until you see the color start to change. Tip first. Now I'm letting that sink all the way down to the bottom. I got my timer going down here on my phone. Smells like bacon and motor oil. So I'm about 45 seconds right now. I'm going to go another 45 seconds. I'm slowly moving this around. See some of the scale coming off there. It should give me a really nice quench line though. All right, about 10 more seconds. That's about 1.5 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and just drop the whole blade in. doing any kind of a quench, make sure your container has a lid that you can throw on it in case you get a flame up. Alright, that's good. I'm going to go ahead and fish it out of here. Maybe. Having the right tongs would really help. Believe it or not, I don't have any knife maker tongs. Get a file to check your hardness. That's the noise that you're looking for. Nice skating, smooth sound. So we got ourselves a nice hard blade. Okay guys, that's going to wrap up this video. This is our hardened finished knife. So the next step to do on this is to temper it. And what you want to do is, or what I do, I take it home and I put it in my oven in the kitchen. And I put it up to about 350, 400 degrees. And I do that for 2 hours. I pull it out, let it air cool, and then I do another cycle, 350 to 400 degrees for 2 hours. So I like to do at least 2 tempering cycles, and what that does is it relieves all the stress in the blade, anything that may be in there from the hammering, the forging, the quench. Right now in this state, after hardening, the blade is very brittle. If I drop this on the ground, it could break right in half. So tempering is a very important part of making your knife. So you can do that other ways as well. In the class that I took, that I'm kind of mimicking these, we basically put fire breaks in front of the forge so that there was a very little stream of flame coming out. And what we did is we held the blade over that flame about at this point in the handle until we started seeing colors change. Then that's where you get your straw, your browns, then it goes into blues, purples, but you can actually see the color travel up the blade. So that's one way of tempering that you can do. And basically what it's doing is, once you hit a straw color, that's the color that you want to see. That means that your blade has been evenly heated, and straw color is still good because it's not too hot. If you get to a blue, dark blue, purple, then your blade is probably no longer hard. So you probably either burned it or you ruined the hardness on the blade. So you have to be very careful on that. That's why a lot of guys will use like a toaster oven and they'll put it in there, same thing, 350 to 400 degrees. There's some variations, I'm sure, in the type of steel that you're using. The 350 to 400 is just like a general number. But that's going to be it. So I'm going to be signing off for this video. I'll take this home tonight and temper it. On the next video, we will work on the finishing grinding to get this blade in shape and get it prepped to put the handle on. And I'm thinking that there will be one more episode in this. So I think the finishing grinding and then the handle work will be it. The handle work might end up being 2 if I end up doing another video on the finishing, sanding, and everything of the handle. So thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate you viewing. If you could subscribe or give me a like, that would be awesome too. And I hope I see you back here for the next episode. Thanks. Bye.